Nice.
The cryogenics are within normal temperatures.
Alright, okay. Me and Nicolas Cage worked for a bit before we decided to take a quick recon. Thanks for helping me, Sensei.
Rescuing the prisoner.
Nicolas Cage gave me a glass of water he poured, and I took it and sipped on it. Okay? I watched Nicolas Cage. There was a time about it all. I wanted to know my feelings for him, but I didn't want to get him checked out. She'll tell him us. Yes.
They spotted
Nicolas
him.
Cage. Yeah. I just want you to know that I'm in love. Let's just jump right in. I'm in love with you. Okay, not no lead up, no give it up. I'm fucking you so. I love you so much that it hurts. Oh. I hate you. You don't understand.
Alarm successfully held.
Michael Goro!
The patient is returning to normal security
I watched him to
levels.
see his reaction. And he didn't say anything. I was about to get up and grab my stuff. Oh no. Until he grabbed my shit. Okay. Fucking right. Press his lips against mine. Fucking right. Fucking right. Just grab the chin. Grab the chin. I quickly pulled away. Shout. Nicolas Cage, this is the first date, okay? I don't get fight a girl like that, okay? Shut up and take off your clothes. Okay. 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 Well, Nicolas.
Shut up and take out the clothes.
Oh, you cheap dog. Oh, God.
I'm Nicolas Cage, baby.
I love you, homie.
Oh yeah.
Nicolas Cage, I love you. Oh. Big baby inside of me.
Nicolas Cage gets all the pussy.
Do you now?
Yes.
After that night, I'm not pregnant by Nicolas Cage. Yes, because this is boss. Yeah. We go decide to keep the baby and get married. Oh. There it is.
I'm lost.
Won. We won. There you go. Ladies and gentlemen.
Where the hell am I going?
That's how you have baby from Nicolas Cage. Okay.
I mean, you know, to be fair, I wasn't expecting a whole lot from this game, but
Yeah, he did.
I didn't come out disappointed.
Yeah, I was very, I'm glad that it did what it did. I felt the big thingy.
Bypass complete.
I had a
You
child.
may proceed.
His name's probably going to be Ronquisha from the ghetto. That's how I live. And that, ladies and gentlemen, oh gosh, I suck at Australian accent.
You sure do.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, was the National Treasure Book of Parodies. Thank you all so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed. And that's the anime man for you.
That's the anime man.
That's the anime for you. Johnny!
If the void is detected, they will surely initiate the execution sequence. The bypass is done. Go. We've reached the prison. Find our prisoner in one of these cells.
Hey, so if you've been following anime for a while now, and by a while I mean like several decades, then you might have realized a slight pattern that is going on, and that's the fact that over the course of many years and many anime seasons and many anime, it seems that anime is getting shorter. And by that I mean we are seeing less series that go on for longer episodes, or we see less series that are getting season 2s and season 3s. Instead we're getting usually 12 episodes, maybe even shorter than that sometimes, and maybe sometimes not even 20 minutes per episode series, and a large number of those shorter series rather than fewer longer ones. So today I want to explore this question: why are new anime series getting shorter? Believe it or not, there are actually a number of valid reasons for it, and it's not just the anime industry getting lazy. Now, one of the fundamental reasons as to why this may be actually comes from an aspect of Japanese culture that you'd think doesn't really apply to the anime world, and that is the fact that Japan is an aging population with a combination of increasing technology and just increasing medicinal technology, and the fact that Japan's birth rate right now is pretty before. Japan is just becoming an aging population. There are, right now, more older people than there are younger people, which is a big problem for the anime industry. Because as of right now, as you may or may not recognize, a lot of these longer running series are aimed either at children or at younger kids. While there are some series that are actually aimed at smaller children, like Sazae-san, the rest of the longer running series are aimed more at a younger audience in Japan, such as One Piece and Fairy Tail. But unfortunately,
Yeah, I'm done.
year by year, it's getting smaller
It's alright.
and smaller and smaller.
I'll be over
because
there.
Japan
I'll just reboot.
Looks like heavy activity ahead.
Shiny. Yeah. Oh,
Escort mission complete.
I was gonna get our little robot buddy.
Let's get out of here.
is getting older and older and older. In other words, we're seeing less of these older series because the audience in general is just getting smaller and smaller and smaller. Now, the second reason may be a bit of a downer because it might not interest a lot in the anime industry, and that is the fact that Japan right now is in an economic recession. Now, before you click on this video, you're thinking, oh, he's just going to go on about the economy and money and all that fun and interesting stuff. Don't worry, I'm going to keep this brief. I know you guys. Essentially, the problem here is that not enough people are buying stuff that is related to the anime industry, and therefore not enough money is coming back around to the anime industry to make newer series. And this is going to relate back to the next point that I'm going to tell you, but in other words, the anime industry just isn't getting enough revenue right now. They're not getting enough money to actually invest in these longer series. By the way, this economic recession is not just the anime industry, it is a Japan-wide thing that is going on. And since the economic recession in Japan right now, not enough money is going towards the anime industry, they have to instead start making shorter series because, getting on to point number 3, shorter series are just cheaper to make. Believe it or not, making more and shorter anime is actually cheaper for the anime industry than creating less yet longer running anime. With longer anime industries have to invest in like business plans, like considering stuff like merch. They have to think like, oh, okay, we're gonna make this anime run for less than this anime afloat during those 100 episodes so that people don't start dropping off the series like flies. In other words, there's less of a risk in shorter series because, as the name suggests, they are shorter series. In other words, there is more of a chance that the viewers are going to stick all the way to the end to watch that anime rather than the longer anime. But, you know, unfortunately here, they actually use that limited resource to make, you know, usually pretty shit anime. So, yeah, it's not a good look on the anime industry right now. Now, the fourth reason for shorter series is a reason that I'm pretty sure a lot of people in the anime industry have kind of started to figure out. And that is the fact that there is not enough source material. Now, you might be thinking to yourself, Joey, but I'm pretty sure there are more manga series and more light novel series that have been produced in the recent times compared to, say, back in the 80s and 90s. So what do you mean there's not enough source material? There's heaps of source material there. And you'd be right about that, because when the anime industry first released the anime adaptation for the Melancholy of Suzumiya Haruhi series, they saw the potential in light novel adaptations, and since then, there have been a lot of large light novel adaptations that have actually seen quite a bit of success in the anime industry. And don't get me wrong, the Melancholy of Suzumiya Haruhi wasn't the first light novel adaptation that we saw. In fact, there have been quite a few light novel adaptations way before that, back in the 90s. But considering that the Melancholy of Suzumiya Haruhi at the time kind of became a international phenomenon, like if you were around back in the mid-2000s, then you will know that Melancholy of Suzumiya Haruhi was fucking everywhere. And the anime industry saw that and took that as a sign that, hey, you know, we've been focusing on all these manga adaptations when we've completely missed all of these light novel adaptations, so let's try for all of these. And that's also the reason why, more than ever, you have seen more and more light novel adaptations. But I say that the anime industry doesn't have enough source material because the rate at which anime industries spit out new adaptations, the light novel and manga industry is not quite keeping up to it. Since the anime industry is producing more and more shorter anime in a shorter amount of time, they have to get more and more resources because, as I said, there are a lot more shorter and shorter anime that don't usually end up getting season 2s or season 3s. Because sure, you can make an entire 12-episode series in the span of a season, in other words, roughly 3 months, but the amount of time it takes to
It
make
is so good a bit.
It's
Like a week.
Even the manga equivalent of that, especially if that particular manga series is a monthly rather than a weekly. And so you end up with these shorter 12-episode series that usually never end up getting a season 2, either because the anime industry has to wait for the next manga or the next light novel volume to come out, or it just doesn't do well and the anime industry doesn't want to risk losing money in creating a season 2 that is going to flop, which they have done in the past. Now, this final reason as to why newer anime series are becoming shorter might kind of bum you down because it's inevitably true, and that is the fact that people's tastes are changing. Now, as I mentioned at the start of this video,
Yes.
anime was marketed towards children and younger teens. But with the combination of declining birth rate and the Asian population in Japan right now, as of now, there are actually more older teens and younger adults who are watching anime rather than children and younger teens. And so compared to back in the 80s when most anime were aired during the late evenings or after school times, since these adults and older teens aren't around during that time to watch any of those series, that is one of the reasons why many believe that anime has shifted into the late night period. With younger children, you know that the kids are most likely going to be back from school by the early evening, and thus they aired all of those anime that those kids would enjoy during the early evening. But with older teens and adults, they're kind of unpredictable. You don't know if they're going to be home at this time or they're going to be home at this time, and so they put the anime over on the late nights as so to cater for those who are coming home late or for those who just don't have enough time to watch anime at all. And then, you know, they can just record it on their Blu-ray player or whatever and then watch it the following day, for example. So in conclusion, the reason why newer anime is getting shorter is really due to the fact that Japan itself as a country has a few problems that we as people who live outside of Japan can't really control right now. Concerning things like the declining birth rate, aging population, and the economic recession, Japan just kind of needs to get this shit together by themselves before we have any say in anything. But luckily, there are still some series that are long-running for those who can't be bothered to start newer anime, so I guess it's a win-win situation depending on what you like. Guys, let me know in the comments below. Do you prefer long-running anime or do you prefer shorter anime? Also, what do you think are some other reasons as to why newer anime is getting shorter that I didn't mention in this video? I'd like you guys to let me know in the comments below. And guys, thanks for watching. As always, like, favorite if you enjoy, subscribe for more of your fan, and I'll see you guys next video of whatever I'm making. Keep watching anime. Bye!
Bright House Network's high-speed internet customers stay connected with free access at Bright House Wi-Fi locations, whether you're in Tampa Bay, Lakeland, Orlando, or Daytona. You can access over 50,000 of our local Wi-Fi hotspots by searching your Wi-Fi networks and signing in with your My Services login. When you're out of town, look for the cable Wi-Fi option and access over 450,000 free hotspots nationwide. Bright House Wi-Fi here, cable Wi-Fi there, and one login for all.
Hey, how's it going everyone? This is the Anime Man, and welcome to my first of this season. There are quite a few anime that I'm watching to make up for the lack of anime that I'm in. And so, since the majority of the first episodes and some of the second episodes are for the current season of the week,